Thank you. Good evening, councillors and those members of the public joining us on YouTube. Welcome to Torridge District Council's annual meeting of council this evening, 20th of May, 2024. So I'll open the meeting with any apologies for absence.
No apologies received.
Okay, thank you. So the second item on this evening's agenda is the election of the chair of council. If I could take any nominations, please.
Can I nominate Doug Bushby to the chair, please?
Is there a seconder?
Chair.
I'm happy to second.
Councillor Hodson, second. Councillor Bushby. Any other nominations?
Chair, I think it's time this council actually had a woman as a chair. It's been many years since that's happened. I really think it doesn't reflect well on our authority or the areas that we represent either. Personally, I would recommend Mayor Hodson as chair, but I don't think she's terribly keen. I don't know why, because I'm sure she's very good at it.
You nominated Councillor Hodson.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
yes.
Can I respond? I think it's rather a pity. We are trying to be with the equalities agenda, but men and women are equal and we're appointed on merit, not our sex. So thank you, Councillor Brenton. I hear what you're saying, but I think you're wrong in saying that we need a woman rather than a man. We should be the best person for the job. And I'm afraid that's not me as chair. So thank you for the thought, but no, thank you.
Councillor Ford.
Yeah, well, on that score then, that would be the first time ever that we've actually got the right person and the right job. That would be rather refreshing, thanks to obviously. As the dear departed, who's one of the few people in there that did have integrity, the late Peter Christie, was one of the longest serving councillors, if not at the time the longest. I think now, if we look at a record, I'm about 8th in the list and I've never had a post and A-level educated, but I certainly don't want any position in this. Well, I won't use that word until later. But I think Councillor Brett will probably turn it down, but I'm going to propose him to be chair. He quite probably won't want it. If not, I'll propose him for vice chair. But I'd like to actually propose him to be chair. As now, I think along with Pennington, Hicks, etc., there's about 6 or 7 above me who've got most experience. Let's use somebody that actually does know the ropes and knows what they're doing.
Chair, so respond to that. Thank you very much, Councillor Ford, but I've already been chair. And it was the other thing was that really the role of chair was passed around so that because it's an honorary post as much as anything apart from chairing the meeting. And I did it twice and during the COVID period, I really had a bellyful of that. Thank you very much. So I've once bitten, many times shy. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations before we go to the vote? No. All those members raise their hand for Councillor Bushby. And those against?
Please, can I mind recall it again, please?
So Steve, that's 33 for and 3 against.
Councillor Bushby, you're elected chair of the council.
4 against. Point of order. Sorry. Was there not 4 against then, not 3? There's then 2, yeah?
No, I voted for Doug Bushby. Yeah.
Oh, you did, did you? Okay, all right, sorry, my mistake.
He was a bit late, but he's down there.
Yes. Right.
We have to bring in VAR.
I, Doug Bushby, having been elected to the office of Chair of Council of Kells District Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Well, thank you, councillors, for your confidence in me once again. I promise you I will do my very best. Without favours to any individuals or groups. The second item on the agenda is the election of vice chair of council. From the chair, sorry, I'll get you in a second, councillor. From the chair, propose councillor Craigie. Anyone else? Jude?
Thank you, I'd like to second that.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor Conlon.
Obviously, it's very sad circumstances that the seat is vacant with the passing of Peter Christie. But I would like to propose councillor Doug Smith for vice chair. He's been mayor of Great Torrington for the past 3 years, and I think he'd do a great job representing Torridge as vice chair.
I would second that, as a very experienced man and one of our town managers.
Any other? Councillor Ford?
Yeah, just for democracy, I'd like to stick by what I said before. One of the most senior reds here. I understand he's had a funny fault doing the main role, and I can see that point. But I'd like to put his hat in the ring if he doesn't mind, just for democracy's sake.
Yeah.
That's a friend.
It's councillor Brenton you're referring to, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone like to second that? Thank you. Any other nominations? Okay, we'll take the vote in then. We'll take councillor Craigie, first of all, and proposed. Who seconded them? Who was it again? Oh, councillor Gubb, sorry, yeah. Okay, so the show of hands in support of councillor Craigie, please. Okay.
Yep.
How many was that, Tom?
Against, we need to do an.
Oh, sorry, yeah, against, please. Against.
Chair, that's 15 for and 21 against.
Motion is clearly lost. Move on then to the second nominee, which was councillor Smith. That was proposed by councillor Conlon, seconded by Sir Newton. Sorry, I will get with the programme in a second. All in favour, please show.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right. And against? Any abstentions?
balance. I don't balance. No, I've got 19 for, 8 against and 7 abstentions, so it doesn't balance.
Okay, start again then. All in support, please, show. Okay, and against? And abstentions.
balance is 24, 9 against and 7 abstentions, Chair. That carried. Carried.
Okay, and then lastly, we've got councillor. No?
Sure.
Oh, I haven't seen it, because of the numbers, yeah. Okay, councillor Smith, you got the join the job. Sorry, councillor Hames,
We don't have to vote, we're gonna vote councillor Brent.
apparently we don't need to because of the numbers, apparently.
Carried. We'll do a numeracy, mate.
I, Doug Smith, having been elected to the office of Vice Chair of Council of the Surrey District Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Okay, item 4 on the agenda, public contributions, will we be having it? Moving then on to item 5, to consider correspondence or other business brought forward by the chair. I think all I really need to do is to welcome our new Bedford North Ward councillor, Teresa Tinsley, which is here, which is like to. Sorry?
Drowning prevention?
Oh, yes. Yes, apparently there is a drowning prevention course or a whole week of drowning prevention. I think it's the emphasis on teaching youngsters how to float, and being the fact that we live in a seaside resort at our seaside area. It's something that active towards are pursuing. So please, if you know anyone that is participating in that program, please encourage them and encourage any others to also participate. Anyone else? Yes.
We've got half term coming up next week. And obviously with glorious weather like this, and it's something really simple to encourage young people to be able to learn how to do. Active Torridge are involved and are promoting it, but it's a national issue. So, you know, learn how to float. It's simple and it saves lives. So spread the word with children, grandchildren, and anybody else you know. Thank you.
As you can tell, Councillor Hodgson had the briefing paper and I never. Okay, item 6 is the election of the leader of the council. Councillor Pennington,
Chair, I'd like to propose Ken James to continue for a further year.
a seconder for that? Councillor Hodgson,
Yes, I'd like to second Ken. I think he's done a splendid job and I think we need consistency and continuity. Thank you.
any other nominations? Okay, go to thought. All in support of Councillor James, please show. And against?
I won't mind recorded against, because in the fullness of time it will become evident.
I'll do it. Okay, any abstentions?
31 for, 4 against and 1 abstention, Chair.
It's clearly carried. Well done, Councillor James. Thank you.
I just thank you for your support for another year. It's going to be an interesting year. We've got a lot of projects and we really need to concentrate. on getting on with delivering for our communities. There's a lot of money coming our way if we get our act together, and I would just appeal to everybody to concentrate on how we work together to deliver what we need to deliver, to get money invested into Torridge and lift everybody's standards, and particularly the young people. We need to help them with their education standards, their opportunities to live here, and also their opportunities in the future for employment in the area, and not keep losing them into other areas because we're not doing enough here at home. So thank you.
Thank you. Item 7 is to elect the deputy leader of the council. Councillor James?
Can I propose Councillor Hodgson to carry on? Oh, sorry. Yeah, she's done a really good job, probably a better job than I'm doing, but she's done a really good job for this council, and I would like to propose that she was the deputy leader of the council. I'll second that.
Councillor Locke seconded that. Any other nominations? Okay, let's go to the vote, please. All in support, please show. Okay, Doc. Was,
No, we need against.
oh, and against?
It's 34 for and 2 against.
No abstentions, I think. Thank you. Okay. Well, done,
Thank you very much.
I'm
I
sure,
will try hard and work well with them.
I'm sure you will. And there's appreciated all what they do. Certainly on the end. Okay, moving on then, item 8, the size of committees and the terms of references, which are pages 4 to 26 on your agenda. And Head of Legal and Governance, Stacey Dory, is going to present the item.
Thank you, Chair. So it's a requirement of the council's constitution that full council approve the size of each committee and the terms of reference that are attached to the committee. So we have community and resources, 12 seats, audit and governance, 6, internal overview and scrutiny, 9, external overview and scrutiny, 9, plans committee, 9, joint crematorium committee, 5, licensing committee, 10, standards committee, 7, harbour board and port security, 6, joint planning policy committee, 7, property and major projects working group, 4, and the climate change working group, 4. The terms of reference are attached to the report, starting from page 6.
I propose that.
I'll second it.
Sorry. Councillor Thomas, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, can I ask a quick question? Why do we have 10 on licensing? We've got more than planned, which I thought in some ways would be more important.
And the answer is?
It's just how it's currently set up in the constitution.
And I propose that we make it 9 to be in line with the others.
Well, it's probably 10 for a good reason.
Yeah, what is the reason? We're that good.
Yeah,
Councillor Brenton?
I understood from our group leaders meeting that in fact, we're going to have to look at the constitution as a result of our peer review. So, you know, things are going to change, I think, in the next 6 months, I hope. Because there is a bit of a mix up, well, not mix up, but not very balanced with some of our committees. For example, there's no mention of the water working group on here, but I understand that's because of, no, I don't understand. I put it forward June of last year and it hasn't made much progress, which deeply disappoints me, but never mind, we'll get there in the end. But as I say, things are going to have to be looked at, the constitution, which means there's the chance, I hope, for all of us members to have an input into how we operate as a council, because that ain't very good at the moment. I don't care what you say, read the peer review or, you know, study the peer review, what we've been able to look at so far. Only 9 of us have been able to see that, the rest of you haven't seen it.
Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Newton, you propose that we accept that
I
report?
propose that we accept the report.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor James. All in favour, please show. And against? Abstentions?
33 for, 0 against and 3 abstentions, Chair.
John? Okay, item 9 again, it's for Stacey, but this is the allocation of seats to political groups, which is 27 to 28 on your agenda. Oh, yeah, and there is a paper hot off the press just being circulated now.
Group leader.
So it's a requirement of the council's constitution that full council.
Yeah, just give us a second.
Don't alter my word. Thank you very much.
One side has obviously played past the parcel more than the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody in possession of this paper, so we'll handle the station. Thank you.
So it's a requirement of the council's constitution that full council approve the number of seats on the committees allocated to each of the political groups at the AGM, or councillors can approve to delegate this to group leaders to be decided after tonight.
So, okay, so it's been suggested that we defer this to the group leaders to actually formulate the numbers. Been proposed by Councillor James, seconded by Councillor Whitaker. All in favour, please show.
Unanimous, Chair.
Okay, moving on then to item 10, page 29 to 32. Your agenda, and so the membership of the committees, and once again, Stacey's going to present the report.
Thank you, Chair. So again, it's a requirement that full council approve the members serving on each committee. It's recommended that this again be delegated to group leaders to agree.
Councillor James?
What I would say is, what I would say is that we will need to make some decisions by Thursday. Okay, bear that in mind, please.
Okay, so it's been, who was second? Someone like to second that? All in favour, please show.
Unanimous, Chair.
Okay, election of chairs and vice chairs. The first one on the list is Community and Resources, CNR.
I'd like to propose topics concerning the chair CNR until we've got the peer review, and we may need to review it that time.
Okay. All right. Councillor Inch? You seconded that, okay. Any other nominations? Okay, Councillor Hickson, the proposal seconded, all in favour, please show. Any against? Abstentions?
Chair, there's 35 for and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Moving on then to Vice Chair of CNR. Councillor Hicks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for electing me as chair. I would suggest that the vice chair, I'm proposing Anna Dart. She's been vice chair in the past. She's my left-hand lady and very good at it.
I'll second that.
Councillor? Any other nominations? Okay, let's go to the vote, please. Councillor Dart.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, moving on then to the chair of Building Governance. Ms. Holton.
I'd like to propose councillor Hackett. He does a splendid job with this and is very thorough and diligent with overseeing our audit. So I'd like to recommend him.
Thank you. Someone like to second that?
Oh, sorry, Chair.
Councillor James seconded. Any other nominations? Okay, Councillor Hackett has been duly proposed and seconded. All in support, please show. Okay. And against?
Please help mine.
And abstentions, yeah.
34 for, 1 against and 1 abstention, Chair.
Okay, let's do it again. Okay, now we're looking for Vice Chair, now please, for Building Governance. Councillor Hackett.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for my reappointment as Chair of Audit and Governance. I'd like to propose for my Vice Chair, Councillor David Brenton, who sits on Audit and Governance and has been a very diligent member of the committee over the last year with me. And I hope that somebody will second.
Councillor Gobb.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other nominations? No, okay. Well, Councillor Brenton has been duly proposed and seconded. All the support, please show.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, we come to nominations for the chair of planning. Sorry, Councillor Newton.
Chair, I propose Councillor Locke as chair of plans.
Thank you, Councillor Newton. You said it even before I made the redirect. Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Could I propose councillor Lever, please?
So who seconded?
Earl, Councillor.
Councillor Cobham seconded, yeah. Sorry, any other nominations? And it was Councillor,
Councillor Ford, proposed councillor Lever.
yeah, seconded by, yes, sir, okay, so we'll take it in the order that we've picked. So is there any other nominations? Okay, we'll take the first one first, the first nomination first. All in favour, please show. Against? And abstentions?
That's 19 for, 13 against, 4 abstentions, Chair.
That's duly carried then.
Correct.
Actually, that's a lot. Okay, we're now looking for vice chair of planning. Mr. Pennington,
Like to propose councillor Leather, and you would take it, but I know sometimes he says you would prefer it to be on the backbenches.
Councillor Leather.
But I think his experience and what he's brought to the committee over the last 6 months has been very valuable, and I would propose councillor Leather.
Councillor Craigie, second that. Councillor Thomas.
I'd like to propose councillor Haynes to continue as vice chair.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been proposed and seconded that Councillor Haynes be vice chair. So we'll take that in the order that they've been received. There are no other nominations. This is proposed by Councillor Locke, seconded by Councillor Craigie. Councillor Pennington proposed, I beg your pardon, seconded by Councillor Craigie that Councillor Leather be vice chair of plans. All in favour, please show. Okay, Tom? And against?
Twenty-one, 4 and 15 against, Chair.
Lady Karen then. Okay, moving on, we're looking for a chair of licensing committee.
I'd like to propose councillor Harding.
Second, Councillor Harding. Councillor Locke, second. Councillor Cobham.
I'd like to propose councillor Chris Bright. Have I got a second?
Yes, I'll second. Sorry.
Any other nominations? Councillor Craigie. Sorry, Tom.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Councillor Inch.
I'll second.
Councillor Pennington, second, Councillor.
I've been on license for the last 12 months, Chair, and I think councillor Inch, given the amount of work that comes in, particularly around Bideford, the taxi ranks, the betting establishments and all the other situations, I think councillor Inch has shown that he's had his finger on the pulse of what is really important for licensing. And I would like to see councillor Inch chair this committee. Thank you.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, it's been proposed, Councillor Harding, sorry, Councillor. Thank you. Proposed Councillor Harding, chair licensing. Seconded by.
Councillor Locke.
Councillor Locke. All those in favour, please show. And against? Abstentions?
Seven, 4, 26 against and 3 abstentions, Chair.
Councillor Simon Inch was proposed.
Chair.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
That's right.
So Councillor Chris Bright. Been proposed and seconded. Yeah, Councillor Whitley. All in favour, please show. And Against? Abstentions?
That'll be our choice of beverage.
That's 21 for, 14 against and 1 abstention.
Okay, moving on then, vice chair of licensing. Mr. Brian,
I'd like to propose councillor Inch.
I'd like to second that.
okay, any other nominations? Mr. Newton,
I would propose councillor Harding for that role, that on licensing for a long time.
second, councillor Harding, any other nominations? Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll do them in the order they've been received. All in support of councillor Inch as vice chair, please show. Against? Abstentions?
Mm. 25 for, 2 against and 9 abstentions. Chair.
Lady Cowan. In, now we're looking at the chair of internal ONS. Councillor Locke,
I can propose Councillor Simon Newton. He's done a sterling job this last year, and I think he'll make a very good chairman this year.
seconded by councillor James. Any other nominations? Okay, please show all the support, councillor Newton. Against? And abstentions?
34 for, 1 against and 1 abstention. Chair.
Clearly carried. Okay, moving on then, we need, looking for nominations for vice chair of internal ONS. Mr. James?
Could I propose Phil Pennington, councillor Phil Pennington, for vice chairman?
Councillor Newton?
I would second that.
Any other nominations? Okay, show of hands in support of councillor Pennington as vice chair of internal ONS.
Unanimous, Chair.
We've got the leader, mate.
Okay, then, moving on, we're now looking for a chair of external ONS. Councillor Brandon?
I'd like to propose Gerald Coppermine.
Councillor James seconded. Any other nominations? Okay, show of hands in support of Councillor Copperhunter. Against? Abstentions?
34 for, 1 against and 1 abstention. Chair.
Yeah. Okay, we're now looking for a vice chair of external ONS.
We'll do it, yeah, you'll do it, sorry.
Councillor Fodderholm,
Propose Councillor Annie Brenton.
I'll second, Chair.
I was happy to second it, so there was that.
okay, any other nominations? Okay, so show of support for councillor Brenton. Councillor Annie Brenton.
Unanimous, Chair.
Well, yeah, it's definitely either filled.
Okay, now we're looking for a chair of standards committee. Councillor James,
Could I propose Louis back, councillor Louis back, please, for that role?
second for that? Yeah, I'll second that, Chair. Thank you. Any other nominations? Okay, we'll take that to the vote and duly proposed and seconded. All in support of councillor Back. Against? Abstentions?
34 for, 1 against and 1 abstention, Chair.
Okay, moving on. The last position is the vice chair of standards. Councillor Back.
Thank you all members for your support. As always, I'll always do my best to serve the council. And in doing so, I'd like to propose Councillor James as vice chair to the standards committee. Thank you.
Councillor?
I'd second that, please.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, it's been proposed by Councillor James, sorry, then Councillor Leather rather, Councillor Back, and seconded by Councillor Hicks. Beg your pardon. All in favour, please show.
No, you correctly said.
And against? Abstentions?
34 for and 2 abstentions, Chair.
There you go. Thank you. Well, thank you for that, councillors. I know that was a bit long-winded, but it actually went quicker than I thought it was done. Item 12 on the agenda is scheme of delegations, pages 33 to 62 on your agenda. Once again, Stacey is going to present this item.
Thank you, Chair. So the next agenda item is the council's scheme of delegation, which again has to be approved by full council every year. It's recently been to full council. There's been no changes since that point. It's on pages 33 to 62 of your agenda.
Councillor James? Yeah, the proposal that they accept this, seconded by Councillor Hodgson. Okay, no other speakers, we'll go to the vote, please, in support.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to item 14, membership of outside bodies, pages. Sorry. Moving on to item 13, substitution scheme, pages 63 to 65 in your agenda. Once again, Stacey, over to you, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, nothing further to add. Apart from it is again a requirement that full council approve who can substitute on what committees. This current scheme is on pages 63 to 65 of the agenda.
Councillor Newton.
Yeah, I propose on
Seconded by Councillor James. No other comments, we'll go to the vote, support please.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to item 14, membership of outside bodies, pages 66 to 69. Once again.
Thank you, Chair. Yep, so it's a requirement that full council approve which councillors sit on outside bodies on behalf of the council. The outside bodies are listed on page 68 to 69. It's recommended that this be delegated to group leaders to agree.
Councillor James.
So the proposal just saying is that we need to check that those groups are still in existence and that we're getting reports back. And also that members are attending. So we usually take a week or so just to sort that all out. So I'm happy to propose. That's what we do.
Councillor James.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think I raised this before. I was quite surprised there's no representative on Tortoise Forum from this council. I don't know if I can propose that here or whether it's something that comes later.
Yeah, sure you could, as a good leader. Thorns Horwich Estuary Forum aren't represented on this group.
I'll second that. Chair, that can come forward as discussion when we formulate the group.
Okay, you happy with that, Councillor Hens?
Or can't we take a vote here?
We can take a vote if you want, that we include Thorns Horwich Estuary Forum as one of the groups that formulate this list. So we'll take a vote on that first of all, shall we? All in support?
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. It was proposed by Councillor James and seconded by Councillor Hodgson, that this again be deferred to group leaders to
Ratify their existence and to commend a quarterly report from each of their representatives.
Okay, you proposed and seconded, all in favour, please show.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, item 15 is lead members, pages 70 to 73 on your agenda. The recommendations on 71, and Chief Exec is going to present the item.
Thanks, Chair. So another report which full council have to approve. So it's your lead members. Full council approved them on the 19th of June 2023, and then the current lead members are listed on page 72. Full council required to approve them.
Councillor James.
Yeah, I'm happy to approve, and also in the constitution, lead members are meant to serve for 4 years unless there is any reason we don't, although we re-elect every year on the assumption that nobody wants to drop off. So I'm happy to approve that.
Okay. So Hodgson seconded that. All in favour, please show.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 16 is a appointment of members to active target board, pages 74 to 76. The agenda, and once again, Chief Exec is going to present the item.
Thanks, Chair. So again, full council need to approve the membership of the active Torridge board. The current makeup is the leader of the council, the lead member for leisure and recreation, the chair of community resources, plus one other member nominated by full council. That current other member is Councillor Cheryl Cottle-Hankin. So it's for full council to either approve that and then.
Councillor James.
Could I recommend approval of that list?
Seconded by. Yeah. Councillor Smith seconded that from side me. All in favour, please show. Against?
It's 35 for and 1 against, Chair.
No abstentions. Really. Item 17, appointment of members to the working group. Weeks 77 to 87 on your agenda. Once again, Chief again, he's going to present the item.
Thank you, Chair. So again, within the council's constitution, you've got 3 constituted member working groups: property and major projects, climate change and harbour board. And full council are required to approve the members to each of those groups. We've got the terms of reference attached, as well as the members of each of the groups. So current climate change working group is Councillor Haynes, the member of climate change, Councillor Doug Smith, the chair, Councillor Lavelle, Councillor Wheatley. We've also got Councillor Craigie, Councillor Benton and Councillor Thomas. On the property and major projects working group, the constitution allows that to be the leader of the council, deputy leader of the council, chair of community resources, plus 1 other member appointed annually by full council, and that is currently Councillor Doug Bushby. On the harbour board, the current makeup is Councillor Hicks as the chair of community resources, Councillor Brenton, Councillor Bushby, Councillor Leather, Councillor Whitaker, and 3 non-elected members. Chair, so all of those need approved by full council.
Yeah, I'm happy to approve. I would also, controversially, I would like to say that Councillor Brenton is working on a water committee. And I would just say that I'd like the councillor to support the work he is doing with North Devon. And so whilst it won't be a constitution work that we would ask, I'd just like to say that we need to work with North Devon on that.
Councillor Kinsley,
Just wanted to,
just stand.
yeah, I just wanted to express my interest in being on the harbour board.
Councillor Coughlin.
Yeah, when I spoke about this previously, I was under the understanding that it could be looked at a later time. Councillor Kinsey had expressed an interest to be on that board, and I was told that it's a working group and it wouldn't be agreed at tonight's council. Could we possibly just add an extra member on it? Would that?
So, to which committee are you referring to?
Harbour board.
The harbour.
It's a working group.
Chair, if members wish to extend membership, then
See no reason why not.
I'd like to
propose.
So you're proposing that Councillor Tinsley join that group? Seconded by Councillor Andrews, we give her a hand up there.
Right, it will have to come back to group leaders because there is not to be a balance to it, to that committee, and we've already expanded it to include, I was on it, except so Councillor Whitaker and I think Councillor Leonard will be doing it. So we just have to check the group leaders before we approve it, that it remains within the constitution. I've got no problem with it.
Councillor Hicks.
Yeah, can I just say as chair of the harbour board, I don't like big committees because they end up as talking shops with very little done. But in fairness, the councillor represents Bideford. If she's interested in the harbour, I'm sure we can make good use of her.
So what do you go for me then?
Well, I'm quite happy to include that in the approvals, and I won't mention the water committee. I also have just had it whispered in my ear that, of course, we've got a budget working group that's not listed here. But it's run on the basis of a representative from every political party. We were a little bit thin on numbers, to say the least, on Friday. But last year we were very successful in saving about 800,000, which actually kept the books straight. And we don't, we're hoping we're not going to have to find that sort of money this time, but we do need that group. We do need to look at the budget constantly. So I would like that to be included as our working group, unless there's some reason I can't.
Chair, the reason it's not in there is because it hasn't been included in the constitution with proper terms of reference and makeup. It was done through the budget process. than through a constitution review. I guess if we're considering looking at, and we may look at the constitution later in the year, we could look at doing that all at the same time.
Yeah. So, in terms of what's been suggested now, is it going to be deferred to group leaders, or can we take a vote on it now? That seems to be the way that members want it to take a vote.
Just to take a vote on it now.
Okay.
But what some items will obviously.
Yeah.
We will be looking at later in the year. Okay. To the group leaders.
So it was proposed by Councillor Cobble-Hunt, I think, seconded by Councillor Andrews, that Councillor Tinsley joins the Harbour Board, correct? We'll have to extend the number of funds.
Christian, increase
Yeah.
the recommendation, increase the numbers by one.
Yeah. I'm happy to do
All
that.
right, Councillor Bright?
Can I just pick up a point, you mentioned the member budget working group met Friday. I didn't see any notification of that, was, oh, so not all members get informed of it anymore? Okay,
No.
alright.
Okay, it's been proposed and seconded, some show of support of Councillor Tinsley joining that.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, item 18, on your agenda is to answer questions submitted under procedural rule A9. We've got 3 questions have been received. One from Councillor Ford, one from Councillor Thomas, and one from Councillor Brenton. The questions that I answered, have been answered, and have been distributed. Councillor Ford, did you have a supplementary question?
Coming back to the microphone, please. Thank you very much for the answer. But quite frankly, it's exactly again what I expected. Already you suggest going to Tom Vanstone when he's already admitted, redacting something that he actually was his own communication. So that I'm very confident. But I will take it up with Greg Sullivan of the external auditors. But as a follow-up question, to try to keep this as friendly as possible, is it appropriate for a local authority to refuse an FOI-SAR request because it might be used against the council or councillors? Would that be an appropriate answer? And I would like an answer so people, anybody listening can actually hear this. I've already got the answer, but I'd like you, the council, to answer that, please. Would that be appropriate? Thank you. That's yours.
Yeah. In writing. Yeah. Councillor Ford, a written response will be forwarded to you.
Don't matter, don't bother.
Well,
Waste your time.
it will be forwarded to you.
Don't waste your time. Save a tree.
Okay, the second A9 question was from Councillor Thomas. And the answer has been circulated.
Chair,
Councillor?
but I don't see that this is an answer to the question that's asked. I've asked, who made the decision to put this particular site to councillors? You're telling me about a council meeting where a report was approved. That wasn't what was asking. The question was specifically, who made the decision and under what authority that the only alternative site to be put to councillors was the land of Halberdiskot Road? You've given me an answer about the full council getting a report. That's completely irrelevant to my question.
Well, I suppose what you're asking is which officer is that?
Officer,
Well,
councillor, committee, whatever.
Clearly, one of the senior officers that would be charged with the responsibility of driving this agenda item forward on behalf of the council would come up with a recommendation to a CNR committee, to the various committees that would have to go to. And at that point, but obviously the makeup of those committees are ourselves as councillors, and then a recommendation would come to full council in the fullness of time. from what I can gather, that is exactly the process that occurred.
Well, can I ask for a written answer to the question that was asked, explaining that properly?
Okay, I will certainly do our best to come up with a written alternative if you're not accepting that one. Thank you. And the last one was, I believe, Councillor Mrs. Branson.
Right, so I have got an answer to my question, a bit difficult to digest it because it's quite long and perambulating, at this meeting. However, the reason for the initial question was because we have got some huge planning applications being approved around Bitterford. And some of them, like the one that was discussed at the planning committee last Thursday or last, was going to take 10 years, and that was at the assumption of the developers. And as somebody who has twice self-built a house, I know that they never take that, they always take much longer. So, I mean, my question is this, that if you've got a huge planning commission that is at a moment in time where some of the issues concerned were, and in fact at the planning committee, as Councillor Locke knows, there were various concerns. Everybody that spoke at that meeting had concerns about that development. Now, nobody was against the housing, and neither am I, but I am for good quality housing that doesn't affect the community in a detrimental way and that doesn't ruin the environment. This, the various issues that came up were there's going to be gas heated boilers. Now we know that that's not in the carbon footprint target. There's surface water drainage and the lack of sufficient attenuation tanks. Sewage overload, because that's 750 houses. And we've just had 3 meetings, including the one in Barnstable. Was it just crocodile tears or wringing our hands about the problems we've all got with sewage overload and overflow and rainwater mixing with sewage? And then insufficient biodiversity protection. Those are all issues that came up. And one councillor actually related how somebody had witnessed, because of the denuding of the site, to put it covered in concrete, that a flash flood occurred about 3 weeks ago when we had that really heavy rain, and apparently Scratchy Face Lane was a flood. It was a river. Now, the issue is, are we pinned down by these regulations for the next 10 years? I just quote from the Constitution we mentioned tonight. The Constitution says, principle that's applicable to all committees within Chapter 3, and it's Section 3, and it's called risk management. The requirement to take account of the likelihood and impact of potential occurrences. Now, nobody on this council can't look ahead 10 years and see that the circumstances might be greatly changed and not for the better. Nobody on this council can think that we're in some kind of time capsule like Doctor Who and that nothing's going to change. No, in all likelihood, our environment is going to suffer even more. And we need to be aware of that and be able to change planning regulations. Now, the idea of doing that huge thing, a 10-year project, and getting all the planning regulations agreed at the beginning of it in 2024, when in 2034, who knows what might be happening. And that's a sort of underestimate of how long it will take. And we're talking about 2040 really. Do you mean to tell me that by 2040, there might not be some serious problems being caused through sewage, through the carbon footprint that we need to address? So really, I do think that this council needs to look seriously at its responsibilities here.
and not, just take the line that, oh, no, we were only obeying orders or whatever it is. We really need to think about the future of our community and how they're going to deal with these massive housing estates if they aren't built properly. And that is the issue. Not to be against the housing, we need the housing, especially we need social housing and affordable housing. But we need it built well and properly and within the qualities that our environment demands. And we should all think about that and care about that and do something about it, especially those on the planning committee, because only one member of that planning committee had the courage of their convictions. Many spoke in concern and worry about this issue, but only one person had the courage of their convictions.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, item 19, there are no petitions. So item 20, you have one notice of motion from Councillor Thomas. Councillor Thomas, you have 3 minutes to present your notice of motion.
Thank you, Chair. Well, apologies to members for bringing this back yet again. But I believe there's an important issue at stake, which is who's setting the agenda for this council. Whether it's councillors that decide strategy or just follow the lead of officers. As regards the operational services depot, you might think this has all been decided, so this debate is pointless. And to an extent, there has decisions been made. I'll remind members that this situation had also been finalised over a year ago when the previous depot got planning permission. Yet we're back here again. And the planning application for the new depot has only recently been submitted, so it's not all over. Now, one councillor has expressed concerns that I might be trying to scupper the project. I'm not. I agree completely that operational services needs a new depot, and this might be the best solution. I just want to be convinced that this council has looked at a range of options and not just gone for what's easiest. And I think this principle is something we should be applying to all major projects. I mean, over the coming year or so, we're going to be looking at a new local plan. One of the things that we might well have to consider amongst that is having a site for travellers. If we do that, do we just come up with one location? Do we say, let's put it in Heartland? Because there's only 3 councillors there and the other 33 will happily vote for that because I think, oh, thank God it's not in my ward. Is that the way we should be working, or should we be coming up with a number of options? Looking at the pros and cons of each one, the costs of doing nothing and the costs of doing something, and then discussing it as a council. And that is exactly what hasn't happened with the operational services depot. I mean, as I mentioned back in March 23, this council gave itself planning permission for what was misleadingly called the Environment Centre. And that was on land off Gallatin Road. Now, negotiations to buy or lease that land appear to have failed or at least stalled. So then a few months ago, we got this report to the council, which as far as I was concerned was out of nowhere, with a recommendation for putting it on land at Aldiscott Road that had previously been allocated for housing. We're told that the value of that land had gone down because the Environment Agency changed the flood risk definition or whatever. So it wasn't so valuable for housing, which was quite convenient in a way. But we're never been told, which is what I keep trying to get at, what other options have been looked at? What are the benefits and the costs of the different options? We don't have to look at 10 different options, just 2 or 3 choices. But we keep just being told that, oh, the council's looked at lots of options in the past. Well, situations change. Bideford is growing. There's roads where there didn't used to be roads. There might be people who weren't willing to sell land 5 or 10 years ago that might be quite happy to sell it now. So when we reach a point where something comes to a halt, like the site off Gallatin Road, that would seem to me an appropriate time to look at what other options might be available, not just pick an easy option, which is a bit of land that the council owns, and say, let's stick it on there. I think we as councillors owe it to the electorate to look at things in much more detail. We're talking about big sums of money.
If you could, Councillor, I've been very generous. I've doubled your time here.
All right, thank you. It's money and democracy. We're handling millions of pounds. We wouldn't make a spend 1% of that money, if it's our own money, without looking carefully at a number of options. And I think we should apply the same principle when we're spending taxpayers' money.
Thank you. Item 21 and 22. Oh, yeah, sorry, were you proposing some of there then, Councillor?
Well, I'm proposing the motion that's on the agenda.
Yeah, was there a seconder for that? Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Lavelle seconded? No, just take a straight vote on that. So all in support of what Councillor Thomas has suggested, please show.
I want a recorded vote as well, please.
I like a second request for a recorded vote.
Well, all the hands went up, it's too late for that. And against? And abstentions?
Ten for, 19 against and 7 abstentions.
What I would suggest, Councillor Thomas, get, 5 or 10 minutes at some point, just speak to Adrian in the corner there in his office and just get a run through of exactly how we arrived at where we are then. Because
I would like to discuss publicly.
Well,
That's what I've always been after.
have a word with Adrian first of all, and perhaps he can allay some of your concerns. Okay, item 21, 22. I don't know.